Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at the Wurkkos TS11. This is a nice little TIR thrower. Reminds me a bit of the Sofern IF22A, just a lot shorter. Also takes an 18650 cell. There's an SFT40 LED under the hood for maximum throw. There's also 3 RGB auxiliary lights underneath the hood as well as in the button, which is quite unique. And I find that if you program this thing to step down at 60 degrees Celsius, it can stay within about 80 to 100% output for 6 minutes. I think that's pretty impressive for such a little light. So yeah, I have the extension tube. I'll show you what that looks on there as well. But yeah, easily pocketable. A little bit of a closer up shot here, and you can see there's a nice, shiny, smooth anodizing. This is the orange, warmer colored version, and it's that same Wurkkos anodizing that doesn't have all too much grip. And it's good that Wurkkos have put in some of these knurling, these little simple knurling areas here at the front and the back of the flashlight as well. The light feels very light but still feels solid. The SFT40 is housed in a TIR lens, and there's also a protective AR glass out on the front. Smooth bezel, nothing out of the ordinary. I actually managed to unscrew the head, though it appeared to be glued on, and Wurkkos don't recommend you to open up that flashlight, especially because it's going to void your warranty. But for those of you guys who like modifying your lights, could be room to put in one of those Yiding 5050 LEDs in there as well. So onboard USB-C charging also comes with an included 18350 cell. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. If you take it apart like that, you've got the head there, the Wurkkos 18350 cell here as well, and you can actually take this one apart like this, and that's the 18350 tube. And just for demonstration purposes, I've got the FC11, the tube for the Wurkkos FC11. And we can actually just screw this directly in. You can use the orange tail cap, but this one works fine as well. And there you have it. Look, you've got, longer runtime and probably a little bit better heat dissipation as well, I find. Especially when you're running this thing on turbo for long periods of time, the head of this flashlight just gets really, really hot. So I end just holding it down the end. But it's good to know, and it probably works with a lot of Sofern battery tubes as well. This is a little comparison with my other TIR flashlights, and you can see here probably starts getting closer to that Spiraz M4. Still is a little bit longer. You've got the P16 over here, Sofern IF22, and obviously got the Lumitop 8001, the largest TIR thrower I have. I mean, these three are probably quite similar in terms of the bezel size. So yeah, all three of the Spiraz M4, IF22A, and the TS11. Okay, so I do find that they all have quite similar beam profiles. Okay, but yeah, just size comparison really. So I just want to do a quick demonstration of the UI. I've covered the Anduril 2 UI before in the past, so I won't go through that again, but I'm just going to show you some of the basic modes. So you can double click to access high straight away, and then double click again to access turbo. But yeah, if you have the light on, it remembers, just click it once, it just remembers that last mode. So I had it in like the lowest setting. Click and hold to ramp up, ramp down. Okay, you can also, in the Anduril UI, you can change the ceiling of the ramp and the bottom of the ramp as well to whatever you want. Okay, but once that flashlight is on, you can double click and access the turbo mode from there. You can lock out the flashlight. You can also check the battery voltage, so it blinks it out by clicking that button 3 times like that. And there's also a few other modes that I like, candlelight mode being one of them. So you click, hold, okay? And yeah, this is actually on the lightning mode, but double click again, I believe, and then it goes to the candle mode. As you can see here, it sort of just flickers and imitates the sort of light from a candle, which is nice little feature. There's all kinds of strobe modes in there as well. That's like a bike flasher mode, the strobe mode. As you can see, you can actually change the frequency of the strobe as well, which I think is quite a useful function if you do light painting or something like that. So just a quick demonstration of the auxiliary modes. Okay, so I've just got it. Click this button 7 times to cycle through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's like nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Goes on to the low mode in auxiliary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then you've got like the normal higher auxiliary mode. Okay, and then it will go to like the blinky one if you click it again. Now, if you want to change the color, you do the same thing, but you hold on the 7th click. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now it's gone to, I don't know, yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now we've got green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can really just cycle through and until you find the color that you want. Okay, oh, there's pink. And some of the colors, you've got this sort of disco color changing mode. There's also one that indicates the battery voltage by color. That might be the one. So here's a little ceiling bounce test, and you can see that the light slowly ramps down from turbo and hits about the 80% brightness mark at 5 minutes. So I think that's pretty impressive. For 5 minutes of output, 5 minutes time, you've got 80 to 100% of the output of the flashlight. Drops quite dramatically after to about 50% at the 8-minute mark, and yeah, pretty much just holds that mark. And I ended the test around 16 minutes as well. So yeah, I actually recommend running this thing on an 18650 if you're looking at running it on a bit of a higher mode as well, because a lot of the 18650 cells out there, they don't really have high drain capacity. So the 18650s, you use a Samsung 30Q or something like that, you're going to get extra brightness and extra runtime as well. So and also you're going to get that extra heat dissipation from the battery tube being more, and you're also going to get better heat dissipation as well from that longer battery tube. Did a few measurements with my Opera Lightmaster Pro. You can see them here up on the screen, and as you can see, the 18350 on turbo throws 582 meters, but if you're using a Samsung 30Q, it throws 663 meters. Okay, so quite a significant difference, but you know, at the end of the day, you're still getting about half a kilometer of throw, which is pretty good. CCT around 6,200 to 6,600, and color rendering index between 68 to 70.7. This light is rated at 2000 lumens. It's got a strong and broad hotspot with plenty of spill in the high and turbo modes, and especially if you are looking to get some extra spill out of this light, you're going to need to ramp it up to the high modes. TIR flashlights just are not too good on spill in the lower modes. Some other considerations, I think the low auxiliary mode is just too low. I can barely see it in the dark, and so you basically have the option of using it on this normal, the standard auxiliary mode, or a low mode which is barely visible. Another thing, Enduro might not be everyone's cup of tea. For me, I don't mind it if I'm just using it as a general around the house light, a general EDC light, even for camping or something like that. But yeah, you do get issues sometimes with people who are not so familiar with Enduro getting stuck, locked out in certain modes. You know, it's not a simple UI, but there is a simple version of Enduro. You can actually switch it onto the simple version, which will solve your problems as well. But some people do still get stuck and click the button too many times and end up in a mode that they don't want to be in. Overall, I think this is a unique TIR thrower from Wurkkos. It's bright, powerful for its size. It's also quite budget friendly as well for a new enthusiast just into the hobby. The new orange coating is a refreshing change. I also like that it has these auxiliary lights in the head as well as the switch. It means that the auxiliary lights can also be used for a practical function like reading a map, you know, general tasks that might require just a lumen or so of light. I also like that you can swap out the battery tube again for that 18651 and get some extra runtime and brightness. So hope this was helpful. I've left a link in the description if you want to get one of these lights, and I'm sure I might have missed out a few things, so let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you like this video, do me a favor and click the like button. And yeah, if you want to see me make more reviews, more flashlight reviews, make sure you subscribe. Wurkkos TS11. Okay, this is on high, and we've got turbo. Really significant reach. Look at that. Lightsaber territory here. Really nice, sort of smooth hot spot in the center, and it's kind of tricky to see on camera, but there is significant amounts of flood as well. But most importantly, it is very easily able to hit those trees in the distance there. Anything that has a bit of white or lighter color on it especially reflects back easily. Okay, I mean, no problem with these other ones, and surprisingly it doesn't seem to be reducing its brightness too much. Okay, I did test this with an 18650 as well, and it throws even further with the Samsung 30Q. So I mean, this is just with the stock Wurkkos cell that's included, so really impressive. We can put it on just the lower mode, sort of with that same ramping and dual ramping, sort of ramp it all the way up to high, and then double click again, then you get turbo. You can see all the detail in those trees there, which is quite amazing. Bright white beam. Should probably hold it in one section a bit more to show you what it looks like off in the distance. Turn off. Okay, high and turbo. Okay, look at that tree. Look at that. No issues at all seeing that far. Moving up closer. It's getting hot, I'll tell you that. Feels pretty hot to the touch. Moving down the battery tube, and I actually set the step down to something really high. I think the highest that I could, so I can just get some extra runtime out of this on turbo. And I'll just go for a bit of a stroll so you can see what it looks like.